Amanda DiLorenzo, and today I will be performing the interview questions. And this is my husband Vinny. He will be asking the questions for me. You can introduce yourself if you want, Vinny.
Hi, I'm Vinny DiLorenzo.
And we will start.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. Let's first start off with what is your leadership style, and if you can give me a few examples of this in action.
Yes, I think that, first of all, great question, and thank you for having me today. So excited to be here. I like to think my leadership style is more flexible. I am more of a democratic leader. I do, in situations, like to get everyone's opinion. I like to make sure that all of our bases are covered, just so everybody kind of feels included. And like an example would be if, I find a gap in our skills that are going on or patient care, I like to get to the root of it and ask everyone a question and kind of see how they feel and just kind of come up with the best case scenario for everyone so that we can all work together as a team and, build the best client and patient care rapport for everybody.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. If you could tell me a time when you faced conflict or, let's just say, had a disagreement with a worker or a leader.
Yeah, I would say there has been a time I've had a conflict with a fellow supervisor. What I did is I went to my director, I went directly to them and just let them know how I was feeling, and they called us both in and we had a very beneficial conversation, and now it's to the point where we're very cordial and we understand that we both just have different work ethics and expectations, and it's okay. There's going to be differences, I understand, in employees, and not everybody's going to be on the same page or want the same thing at times. So I thought that was a good way to make the situation more peaceful. And if I ever need anything from her, sometimes I will send her an email with my director CC'd, just so it doesn't get mixed up in all of other emotions or things like that. So yeah.
Okay. Obviously, that is a great example. Do you have another time that you were potentially faced with a problem and then successfully solved it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time nurses are short-staffed or understaffed, and there are times where you're being pulled left and right in different situations, and you just always have to remember that the patient comes first, and always document and always make sure that you cover those bases and situations, because at the end of the day, your license and your patients are the most important thing. And sorry, I forgot the question. You can repeat it.
Yeah, no, not a problem, because that question will lead into my next question as well. The one we were discussing was tell me a time that you were faced with a problem and successfully solved it. But since you're on the topic of being short-staffed, if you could maybe tie that into a time that you were faced a staffing shortage, either from a leadership or an employee situation, and what were your actions related to being understaffed?
So as a previous unit manager, unfortunately the short staff was shorthanded. It does happen very often. People can call out, things do come up, things happen. What I like to do is just be present. I always ask, what do you need from me, or what can I do? I also try to say, if we are short a nurse or two, I personally will be on the floor for however many hours they need me. Sometimes it could be 2, sometimes it could be 4, sometimes it could be 6, and I help with admissions, discharging, medication, just whatever type of support the nurses need. I always like to make sure that they know that I'm there and present, and like to keep an open door policy for any type of issues that occur.
That's awesome to hear. What is or what would be your strategy to retain employees and maintain morale within the unit?
I think my strategy, and more of because I'm a democratic leader, I like to personally just get to know people. I think just getting to know them and making them feel like I can provide a work-life balance for them. Say they like to work night shifts, or they like to work day shifts, or both, or maybe we can find a good middle ground for everyone and try to make sure we retain them by making them feel happier. And maybe once a month I can do like a rewarding coffee order and bring donuts in the office, just those kind of things, just to kind of keep up the morale and make them feel that we're appreciated and things like that.
Awesome. How would you offer feedback to employees?
I think feedback is important. Me as an employee, I strive off feedback. Like, I personally would love like a 90-day, say I was just hired as a nurse manager, I would personally, and how I would apply the feedback is every 90 days, if you're a new employee, I would bring you in and kind of do a review and just kind of touch base from everything and kind of collect your thoughts on what's going on, and I'll let you know. I wouldn't say you're disorganized or just call out names, but I just would kind of be more detailed of this is what you can work on, and this is what, as a team we think you can work on, things like that. And I think just continuously offering feedback, like every 6 months or twice a year, I think is a good thing to do. And just be honest with them, have an open door policy, making sure you touch base with them frequently, and making sure you pull them in a private room and don't just talk to them in front of everybody. Make sure it's more of a private situation with feedback, and just let them know that I'm available for any type of questions they have.
Awesome. Can you give a example of how you embrace cultural differences and welcome diversity within your team?
Yeah, I think kind of similar to another question. I think it's really good to just get to know your employee. I know that it's important to have a diverse culture in a team. I think it's also very, very beneficial and helpful for all of us. I would get to know them and, see if I can help them with, I know that some religions do fasting, to see if I can help them with anything in that sort of way from, as a manager, and make them feel, not like they're left out, or kind of things like that. So I'm just trying to kind of include them a little bit, get to know them more, and make sure everybody kind of gets along with everybody.
It's a topic that happens, and I hate to ask, but how would you approach an underperforming employee?
Oof. I feel like that could be hard, but it's very necessary, and it happens. First, I'd pull them in on one-on-one and have a private conversation. Just try to get to the root cause of what's going on, what's missing. Is it a skill that they need help developing? Can I educate them more on it? Can we do more quizzes? Can we do some type of certification? Just things like that. Like, what can I do to kind of get this person, if they're not performing well or whatever issue it is, kind of get to it. And I think just getting to the root cause, and you can find a plan from there.
Yeah, perfect. On the same topic, how would you approach an angry client?
Ooh, that sounds a good one, because it's going to happen. And I know that in hospitals and in the type of medical clinic, emotions run high. People like to be in control and like to know what's going on. And I would personally, first be a great listener, kind of see if I can advocate for them somehow, pull them more, or take them away from the situation, kind of pull them more into like a private room and have more of a one-on-one conversation with them. And I've learned that it kind of is more of like a give and take. Like, both of us might have to lose something in order to compromise, and sometimes all it takes is for a manager or an unbiased person to come in and explain things better in a different way, and that could help the situation. So I could also ask colleagues for help, or my director or someone higher up to come and help me diffuse the situation.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I know you talked about helping other employees. How do you yourself commit to personal development? And if you could provide an example, that'd be great.
I love to just keep learning. And, if I notice, oh, I don't really remember, this skill or this medication or this, that night or just that following few days will touch up on it and try to review on it, learn more about it, and then that way I'm a strong leader and manager for, my employees. And it's gonna happen. There's so many new things that come our way, different protocols, evidence-based science changes or updates or improves. So I think just staying updated yourself and keeping that spark of learning and wanting to, do something better or new is helpful, I think.
No, that's perfect. Just to wrap everything up, what would you do if you were presented with a process improvement project with ambiguous directions?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would first try to build a plan. Figure out what base you need, whether it's like improving skills, whether it's your employees need education, employee or emergency room departments are taking longer. I think just finding the base of the situation and then building a healthy plan for everyone, how to tackle it is a great idea. And then from there, implement the education, implement the quizzes, implement the spreadsheet or the worksheets or flyers or things you need to put up in break rooms. And then, say a couple weeks go by, I can check in again and just see how this situation or ambiguous situation started, and I can see if it's improved or if it's gotten better, and just kind of take it from there. Just learn more from my staff, and that's what I would do.
Awesome. Well, those were the only questions that I had for today, so I sincerely appreciate your time and interest in the unit manager position.
Thank you, Vinny, and I hope to hear back from you soon. I appreciate you having me here, and have a great day.